This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us. Say please. Could be us. Say please. Could be us. Say please. Could be us. She gotta say please. Say please.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I am your host, Borito, the #1 CDL ESPN analyst / content creator in the world. And today we have a guest for the first time on Borito Talk. And I was very, very interested in learning more about this individual. I don't have an intro planned. I don't have that many questions planned. I like to do things very a cappella, very natural. I have like about 5 questions, but we're going to take it from there. But most of you guys do know him. If you listen to my channel, you do know him. He is a co-host of The Flank. Very intellectual in the Call of Duty space. Apparently also an agent for Kenny as well on the side. Didn't even know that. It is BenJNissim, aka BenJNissim. How are you doing today, brother?
Well, the Giants lost today, so not doing that great, but my fantasy teams are banging. So mixed day. You know, just trying to enjoy the Sundays while we have them. You know, off season, getting to the end of it. So like, you know, my like leisure stuff is all starting to wind down for the year. But we got CDL and we got COD in the next. Got what COD releases in like 12 days.
Yep.
Launch tournaments, Thanksgiving, and CDL. Like we're about to start to get like the stretch run for content creation. Like it's a sprint, pretty much in a few weeks. So just trying to gear up for that.
I didn't even know like the golf season was still going on.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, I played on like Jan 1st. Just as long as there's no snow on the ground, it's not 30 degrees.
Oh, you mean the playing? Oh, you mean playing? I thought you meant like the PGA. I don't even know how that works, to be honest.
Oh no, the PGA, like they play in the fall still. Like their season like wraps around. But like it basically for the main pros, it ends in usually like end of September, beginning of October, and then they start again in January.
Oh, okay.
But like for playing like we'll around here in Ohio, like we'll play again. If it's not 30, there's frost or snow outside, like I'll try to like get out. It's just like, you know, in the summer, the daylight is forever, right? So I could tee off at 5:30 in the morning or play till like 9:30.
Yeah.
But like in the winter, you know, we just had daylight savings time like last night.
Yeah.
Now it's sunset to like 5:30. Like you gotta, if you want to get a full round in the afternoon, like you have to tee off by 2.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, not getting 18 in.
All right. So, I really wanted to get to know more about you because hearing The Flank, you know, seeing all that stuff, and especially seeing how like the community talks about you, it could be another situation. I mean, even like me, but we're not going to get into me. This is all about you. I'm just going to be an intermediary for these questions, but I'm going to let you take the floor for most of it. But I really wanted the community to know more about BenJNissim because I think there's maybe a lot they don't know, why you are the way you are. You know, and all that stuff. Sometimes seeing how, people interact with you. So we're going to get into more of that. But first, I wanted to get to know more about you personally, starting with your upbringing. Like, where did it all start for BenJNissim? Where were you born? How was all that growing up? You could just take the floor from there and I could chime in whenever I need to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I was born on the like Upper East Side. I like grew up when I was younger in Manhattan, which is great. Like younger, like living in New York City. I still think for me, probably the best city. I've lived in so many cities now, but I still think New York is kind of undefeated as far as like the vibes and things to do. And even when I was younger, it was great. But you know, I have a brother, and like eventually, like you know, having like a 2-bedroom apartment in the city wasn't enough space for us. My grandmother, you know, was you know, she's sick, so she had to move in. So
Yeah.
we moved out to the suburbs in 1999. So I was like 9. We moved out to the suburbs, and that was fun. I mean, New York burbs are just they're traditional standard suburbs. There's nothing too crazy. So I mean, you know, that was fun. Like a lot more space, a lot more, you know, Like I was never like a super like growing up. Like I was never like going to parties every weekend and stuff like that. Like I was a gamer, bro.
Yeah.
My parents wouldn't let me game during the week. So like my Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, like if I had free time, right, I wasn't doing homework or other stuff like sports or whatever. Like I was playing Halo,
Mm.
playing Call of Duty, Ghost Recon, like whatever I can get my hands on, FIFA, Madden, stuff like that. Um, that's why I did that. Um, and yeah, that was like sort of like childhood stuff. Like I got into gaming like pretty early. Like
So like how early and like did you grow up with both parents in the household as well?
yeah, no, yeah.
Okay.
But like I got into gaming. Funny story. The first console that I had was a Sega Genesis.
Okay, yeah, that's
And my
also my first
okay,
console as
and
well.
my dad was like, listen, if you finish potty training, I will go out and get you a Sega Genesis. And so
Wait, like how old are you when he said that?
I don't remember.
Oh,
But I just know I just know the stories that's passed down. You know what I'm saying? But I
okay.
did it. My dad had to go to a store that's not even open anymore. People in the tri-state area probably heard of it. If you're a little bit older, called the Wiz. It's not open anymore. It's been long closed.
The
Since
Wiz.
the money. The Wiz, yeah. He went there and went and bought it, and that's like I used to play like my brother. I used to play my friend Ollie, who lived like in the apartment building as us down the hall. My friend Matt, um, as well in the same building. We played a lot, but yeah, like I've been playing games probably since I was like 6, 7.
Okay.
Like, so like console gaming. Obviously, I really got into PC gaming, like
S-
more recently as sort of my main gaming, like a lot of other people. But I've been like console for like probably 20 years before that.
How'd you get into like gaming? Was it like your brother that introduced you, or did you just like
No, no,
pick it up from a
I was
friend?
just like that was like the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, okay.
I just love video games. I
Okay.
don't know, like again, I was too young. Like I don't know if it was like Nickelodeon or something. That's how I was like, oh, I want to like get a console or something. I don't know what the trigger was. Maybe it was my friend Ollie. That part I don't know. Again, I was young. Like how you remember the shit that you were doing when you were like 5 or 6? Like you know what I'm saying? Like I
I
don't
do.
know.
I do. But
You vividly remember everything you were doing when you were 5. Like you
y-
can recount like a
yeah, at like 5, I mean, I'm not gonna get into much about me, but I was hardcore playing. Um, I mean, at that time it was like N64. I was playing all like the WWE games with my brothers. Like that's where I first started gaming. Um, but yeah, I actually wanted to follow up on a point you made earlier. So like about the not going to parties thing, because I know it's not for everybody. So was that more of like a personal choice, like not going to parties? Did you just like really like gaming more? Because I remember I probably hit that point in about like grade 7 when I started like really playing Call of Duty, and I just like didn't want to go out anymore. I just wanted to like play Call of Duty. I didn't want to go socialize anymore. And my social life just got ruined after that. So was it more of like a personal choice, or was it just like, you know?
I mean, like I said, like my parents are pretty serious. Like, you know, homework during the week. Like, I can't play games at all.
Mm.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were like the only times I could play. And like, growing up for me, especially middle school, high school, like I really got into first multiplayer, like online multiplayer. I was playing like Xbox Connect, like Halo 1.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
bridge your like console to your like laptop. It was like some
holy
crazy
cow.
shit. Yeah, and then Halo 2 coming out, right? Like Halo 2 coming out was a big deal because you didn't have to do that. I was really big in the like Red versus Blue like machinima community at that time. So it was like probably like 2003, 2004. That's
Okay,
where, like a
yeah.
lot of people I played with were at like the Rooster Teeth community at the time. Um, like I was like 14 when Halo 2 came out. And, like that was like the game I religiously played. I'm saying like we played Big Team Battle. We played like eights like if we could. And like Halo 2 is a fun game. Had a lot of issues. Like I think Halo 3 is probably better, but Halo 2 like they reset ranks at one point. There was like standby. It was glitching. Like there's
Yeah.
all sorts of issues. But like I played the game probably like on weekends. I probably played like 12, 14 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Just
Like I locked
milking
in on
in
like Sunday
every.
for football and shit, but like yeah, no Saturdays like I was grinding. So it's just like it's like I could go out like and have a good time, but it's just like I was just like schoolwork. Maybe hanging out during the week with people, but like on the weekends I was just gaming. You know, if I
Yeah.
wasn't going like playing soccer, like you know what I'm saying, doing some other sports, like we skied a lot when I was younger. We go out to like Vermont and shit. Like bring my console with me if we were doing that. But like
Oh,
if
did
I
you play
wasn't doing
soccer
that, I was
too?
gaming. What's up?
Oh, did you play soccer as well?
Yeah, until I was like 13, 14.
Oh, okay,
I played.
okay.
I played. I was alright. I was like Tommy Zuma, all like I played for Chelsea Academy or some shit like that. I was like whatever, you know.
Oh, I didn't even
Um,
know. Oh, wow, I didn't even know that. I
yeah.
think I heard that before, but huh.
But like for me, skiing was probably like the biggest thing. Like our cousins had a on Vermont, so we used to go up to Stratton all the time. We'd ski a lot of weekends in the winter. Um, did that. At one point, I tore my ACL doing that, so that was a fucking tragedy in high school.
Yeah.
I was like 15, 16. Um, but
S-
yeah, that was like again, like if I wasn't doing like athletics, and if I wasn't like, if I wasn't like doing schoolwork, it was games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's like because like you didn't have a finite amount of time like for games, so whenever you did that, had the opportunity, like that's what you were doing.
Yeah, no, I mean that's how it went. So like
And
that was like what I'm saying, like that was like that like up to like graduating high school, like that was sort of the
and you graduated
that was
in
going on.
what year?
2008.
2008. Okay, okay. I think that's like
Yeah,
around the time.
I'm old as fuck. Yeah,
I think that's
that's
around
right.
the time I don't even. What was I doing in 2008? I don't even remember.
Probably like I'll watch Four Seasons and someone's born in 2000. I'm like, bro, when I graduated high school, like fuck, like bro, I was at like I'm at OSU. So I live in Columbus. So I got three friends of mine who, and we'll get to like my esports engine days, but people I used to work with.
Yeah.
We split like season tickets.
Okay.
So I was at the game this weekend, and like they play like a lot of like mix and music, right?
Yeah.
Like they're playing like Play by Cardi, but then they'll play like older songs. And my friend was with this looks at me and like looks at the student section, like none of those people know that fucking song. Like none of those people. Like yeah, like like they all know how to do 6 7 meme, like all that stuff, but they play like classic like Nirvana song. Like they're not, what I'm saying, they weren't born yet. That was 15 years
Yeah.
before they were born. Makes you feel old, bro.
Yeah.
Makes you feel so old.
I mean, it's more about how you feel, you know. If like you act young, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So when did you start playing Call of Duty? Like, what was like the first Call of Duty you played?
COD 2.
COD
Call
2.
of Duty 2
I
was
was
probably the
not there
first
for
one I
that.
played. Yes, that was like 2005. 2006. I was
2005.
like, yeah. So like COD 2 is like COD 2 is I mean that was the sort of run COD 2, COD 3, COD 4 of just like the sort of more like COD 3 was the last like for a while those like old school World War II Inspire World War One inspired games. Like once you got COD 4, it got a little more modern, but um we used to play that was like our Halo cooldown. We'd grind Halo, and then late we get on, we'd play like Call of Duty 2 customs. A
Yeah.
lot of sniping in that game. The sniper was fucking good. Um, grinded that. I played COD 3. I played a lot of massive multiplayer COD 3 because at that point, um, Halo 2 was pretty like far in.
Yeah.
Um, and at times I was like kind of bored of Halo 2 unless I had friends to play with. I just kind of solo play a lot of like multiplayer on COD 3. Yeah, I played like every COD. The only COD I like really didn't grind was like World at War.
Oh my god, that was like my favorite one. That was like the first Call of Duty I like actually played, and I grinded pubs and zombies. That was like my very first one right there. Wow.
Yeah, that was just tough because I was at college, so I had to lock in, so I didn't really play that game that much. But like, um, yeah, other than that, I played. I don't think I missed any other COD after COD 2 for that. Yeah, I mean, I played a lot of MW2, played a lot of COD 4, played a lot of OG Black Ops, MW3. Yeah,
And that's like pretty impressive. And like when I heard you say 2005, the recollection I have of 2005 is that's my introduction to soccer when I played FIFA '06, and Del Piero instantly became my favorite player. And then from there, I found Chelsea with Crespo, Johnson, and I was just like hooked on Chelsea at that point. So I've been a Chelsea fan since 2005. That's what I vividly remember about that year. But um, I wanted to just ask a bit more about like your high school thing because I'm curious. So what high school did you graduate from? Even though I'm not gonna know, but I'll probably have like American people that know. Like, did you graduate in Manhattan as well?
No, I was out in the burbs.
Oh,
I grew
okay.
up in Chappaqua, which is like a very nice,
Mm.
affluent suburb. Um, the Clintons live there. That's the thing. People are like, oh, Chappaqua say it's the Clintons. Oh, I've heard of it. Whatever.
Oh, I.
It was a nice town. But like, I'm not gonna undersell it. It wasn't like like northern Westchester. A lot of affluent. I'm very lucky that my dad, who's a finance lawyer, is obviously has a good career.
Yeah.
Was able to afford like a nice, for us to live in
Oh,
a
okay.
nice town. But it was like the only thing with Chappaqua is just you got a lot of like mix of. It's an affluent suburb, so it's a little bit weird. It's like one of those towns where like I'll give you an example. Like they had to redo a bridge over a parkway or extension of the train station they were building, and
Yeah.
people were arguing over like three fucking random trees. Not even like first growth, not even like 100-year-old trees, just random trees.
Mm. Yeah.
Like
You
it's
gotta
that
cut
kind of
that
place
shit.
where it's just like whatever. So I didn't mind it. It's not one of the better towns in Westchester. I think people that live in Westchester, like I would say, like you know, I think the best towns in Westchester are like the ones that are on the Hudson River, just like east of or west of where I was.
Yeah.
But um, that's fine. We pretty good growing up.
So we're gonna get more into the sport part later. So you moved to
Westchester,
so you moved to
Columbus.
Columbus after when like you
No,
got like an esports like position.
so there's a gap. So lived in New York, went to school in upstate New York at RIT.
Yeah.
Finished out, was back in New York for a bit. Um, I worked for a Google Fiber contractor in Austin. That's why I moved down to Austin, Texas.
Oh,
I was
okay.
in Austin for like 6 years, 2012 to 2018.
How'd you get that job?
Um, just like random applying, just like online, just found it.
Oh,
Contractor
okay.
doing like high res stuff for Google Fiber. It was like, well,
Oh,
I was bored of the IT shit at that point because that's what I was trying to go to school for and doing. But I was like, this shit is like it's
this is
not my thing.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, like I was starting getting esports, and I'd watched like Halo esports a bunch, like when I was in my Halo 2, Halo 3 days, right? Because that was back when MLG was popping off. You had to use like the Octo Shape plugin. That was like pre YouTube, pre Twitch.
Jesus,
Like
that's
streaming video was a fucking shit show back then. Um, So I got into Call of Duty esports in Black Ops 2. My friend, um, I had a couple of friends. One friend, Steven, Living Dead for Life. He
okay.
was like, "Yo, there's this thing going on, Call of Duty Champs. It's lit. Like you should tune in." It was like on the game, I think, in Black Ops 2, if I remember.
Yeah.
So tune in, watch like a lot of Optic play because he was a big Optic fan, big Nate Shot fan. Um, I didn't really pay attention to much of the rest of the Black Ops 2 year after that event. I really started watching mostly Ghosts. I would say
Okay.
like the like early spring of Ghosts, probably right after UMG Philly, because I had seen like all this shit going on Twitter with the drama. I was like, oh, this looks entertaining. So I started watching like a lot in Ghosts at that point. That's when I really got into it. Right, I like watch most of the events that year. Right, like the EG, Cole Ron, then the team kind of blew apart. And
Yeah.
then like, at the end, like you had the denial run, you had MV, like form on a big year, moving up on teams. And then like the big roster shuffle after that year was like at
Uh,
that point, so what had happened at that point is, I saw an account, I was just like bored. So I was watching esports, when I could every night, watching how much you got TV or Twitch or whatever. Um I saw an account that I was following was like, yo, we need like volunteers to help run the social accounts. An account called Optic Intel. It doesn't exist anymore.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
But people that
yeah.
are newer to the scene may not know that Optic at one point had like a news Twitter account. Hector had bought this news Twitter account from this guy. This was like,
I didn't even know that was actually like an optic thing. I always thought back then it was like a person that went out of their way to do that. That's interesting.
yeah, it was like, I forget the guy. I forget the guy that like founded it, but Hector got it, and Davis actually like was like running point on it. So I was like, okay, I'll apply, and I didn't know my friend Kelly at the time was doing stuff for them too. So she hit me up, was like, "You applied for this thing?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, oh well, it's sort of like me and you. We can do socials. I'm like, that will be a really good duo. So that's how I met like Davis the first time. I met Aaron there for the first time. Um, and we did coverage like for everything, online matches, land matches. So I traveled to champs in AW to cover stuff from Optic Intel. I went to the MLG finals. I think I went to one other event that year.
Were like those like
UMG
paid?
Dallas.
So were those like paid for? Or did you like
No,
go out of your way?
I just traveled. Yeah, I just
Oh,
traveled
okay.
like okay, like yeah,
Okay, that's good.
vacation time. I just traveled. That's how I met like Tommy for the first time. How I met like Clay, because I was like Clay was like the person I was following at that point. Like, like I watch his streams like every day and shit.
I'm like
One of
actually,
his mods.
I'm very curious about your very first
I've
interaction
told
with
this story before.
Zuma because I've never heard
Yeah.
this at all.
So Tommy and I met for the first time because I was friends with Clay. Went to champs, met Clay's mom, his brothers. Obviously, at that event, I met like everybody in denial, right? So I met Chris there for the first time, Chris Crowder. Met Dylan. Regret that fucking meeting him. Thing. And Cap, I met for the first time there, and like their moms were there too. And then,
Yeah.
I went to. So I went to a couple events. I went to AW Champs. I went to X Games because I lived in Austin at the time, so
Yeah.
I could figure that whatever. UMG Dallas. So that was like the first time I really like met Tom, because that's when Clay had joined FaZe at that point. Hung out with them like all weekend and shit. And then I went to MLG Finals. And then after MLG Finals, like I had like over the course of the year that year, like met a lot of people, right? Optic people, Envy people. Like I met Ricky and Tommy a lot
Okay.
that year, and I had a lot of conversations with Tommy and Ricky and Hector about like I was trying to like parlay it into like trying to get in, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
one funny story I've told is like Hector had this convo, like I tried to pitch running the Optic account, their account at some point that year, like before finals. I was offering to do it for like $1,000 a month. I think I would have been terrible at it, honestly, like in retrospect. Like I'm not as good at like the Discord thing as say Gersh's, but
Yeah.
whatever. What ended up happening though is I was talking to FaZe guys, and they were really starting to like want to build out the esports thing. To them, they didn't really, they were kind of in a weird spot in their business, right? They had just moved to LA. They had a lot of people in their area. They were trying to like figure out how to make FaZe a business.
Yeah.
And the guys were starting to, really develop a core team, right? There was a lot of continuity they wanted to keep in that year with Clay and Nabel and Tommy and Dylan kind of running it back. And so at one point at the beginning of Black Ops 3, like I was their analyst. So that's when Ban and Protect was introduced. And, they'd wanted someone to take notes during scrims. Like they wanted to be more thorough about like the progression from day to day and just like staying on top of things and not falling behind. The problem is that FaZe was going through a transitory period. They weren't really sure to scale esports up yet. And so when it came time to do a longer term compensation conversation, like a compensated short term, this guy named Seb stepped in. Fuck that guy, by the way. Real scummy guy, and got pushed out of FaZe. You can read up about this all on the internet, but like Seb is one of the key reasons that I think FaZe kind of lost his way for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Was
like
he a
basically
sniper?
no, he was like this random like Bosnian dude. Basically, the Seb is different from Seabass, by the way, so people don't get confused because Seabass is the go.
Yeah, because I remember
But
hearing
basically,
him. Yeah.
basically what had happened with FaZe at the time is there's this guy, Seb G. I don't remember his last name, but basically he pitched the FaZe guys on getting involved in like the next big social media platform. It was going to be called Hubrick.
Okay.
And the whole thing was like kind of, it was, the app never panned out. And there were some, rumors about embezzling and this and that. And some of the Hubrick people then, because Seb got pushed out, some of the people in their circle got involved. And that's how like Lee Trink got involved.
Yeah.
Again, like that is, I think, how FaZe kind of lost its kind of vision at that point. But Seb was like, this is like after UMG South Carolina Black Ops 3. Seb was like not really keen to bring on additional staff around the team. Like he didn't want to spend more money. I think because they were really starting to spend a lot of money in Counter-Strike.
Yes.
And the buyouts there were big. They had not had a team yet, and they had to get like Rain and Kerrigan, like all these people like off of sort of bigger teams. Like the money in CS was real high at that point. And so I didn't continue on with them, but I was still around, like watching streams and shit. Through Black Ops 3 and then IW, they actually moved to Austin.
Okay.
Guys. Like at the end of Black Ops 3, they moved to Austin. So like I saw them like every other day and shit. Like I'd go over there, build PCs, hang out with the nub, go to Chipotle, shit like that, like the movies, whatever. Because they also lived like in the same side of town as my friend Ray. Was like, I was at Ray's house, was their house, whatever.
Yeah.
All my Austin friends lived in South Austin. So fast forward to like the middle IW, because Chris Crowder at the end of Black Ops 3 decides to take a year off. So he coaches them in IW, and Crack started to form a little bit with the FaZe team.
I was in Black Ops 3, okay.
And then there's a bunch of things that went down in IW that resulted in the team breaking up. I think just again they were together too long.
Way too long at that point.
Way too long. And so at one point after MLG Anaheim, I got a text from Enable. Enable's like, I don't know what to do. I got some ideas on how this, roster change thing's gonna go down. Like, what do you think? I was talking it through with him, and at that point, it became clear to him that he wanted to bring me on to sort of help out with trying to coach, like trying to really get them back to a level once they had picked up Pierce. So I did that. There's some content pieces if you can find them. You can see me like at the house with them scrimming, like official MLG shit. We played okay. I think, unfortunately, at Champs that year, we had an opportunity to make a run, but there's some key mistakes on that team. It just didn't work out between Dub, Dill, Tommy, and Pierce, even though Pierce was fucking everything in that game.
Yeah.
And then going into World War II was when, Tommy and Dylan picked up Chris. Nub went to go fuck off to EG, which was a terrible decision on his part.
Terrible.
It eventually worked out. He got on TK. It was awful. I told him at the time, it was the only team of Pat Nameless. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that, brother. Like, Pierce, we actually, the Chris and Pierce, people probably don't know this, but like, Crowder and Gunless was like kind of a swap low by Echo Fox. There's some money that exchanged hands, but basically that was like a swap for both teams.
Okay.
And at the time, Seb had come and gone at that point. Eric Anderson that summer, Eric the Goat, kind of took over esports. And Eric came to Austin, and him and I talked for a long time about like the needs that they have, especially with regards to the COD team and other shit they were trying to do. And so Eric wanted to bring me on. So I was basically kind of managing that Call of Duty team through World War II and Black Ops 4. And at one point I picked up for FaZe FIFA, managing tasks, and Fortnite,
Really?
which was a clusterfuck because no one knew what the fuck they were doing in that scene.
Yeah.
And so, yes, at the end, I was basically doing all three of those games for FaZe. Whilst working a full-time job. So that was just like, it was a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because the FaZe thing didn't play like full-time. I had my other job. So it's like, I was kind of burning myself out a little bit because it was just like, I was trying to balance that and have free time. And it's just,
Yeah.
it was just tricky.
So we're gonna have to like backtrack real quick.
I really want to backtrack too because that was a lot. I talked about 25 minutes.
We're gonna have to backtrack a bit. So, like before I get back to Zuma, because that was like the original question. So, the first time you're an analyst, like was that like the first time like Call of Duty Esports like introduced an analyst into the game to have a person? I mean, I know there's like coaches like before, but um taking notes in scrims and like doing all that, like, so like choose you to what made them choose you to do that? Because like you didn't play competitive Call of Duty. Was it just because like you were a good figure around the team and they wanted a person to overlook? So like how did that happen?
So a couple of things. So like with Clay, I'd sit there in Mod's chat and he used to steal. I'd say stuff in chat. Then all of a sudden after the map, it's just being repeated by Clay to his teammates. I wonder where he was getting that from. I wonder where he's getting that from. Listen, I was around the team a lot, so they kind of trusted my judgment. Like, I had a good sense for kind of some of the more macro stuff. And no one was really doing the analyst work at that point. There wasn't really a need to
Yeah.
as much in those older games. I probably would have helped, but teams don't really say it's necessary. Ban and protect, and I think being able to scout in a game how people played the game, approaches, breakoffs, like people started to take that shit more serious.
Yeah.
In Black Ops 3. So like I was kind of on the cutting edge of that, as far as the analyst thing. It sucks I only did it for like 3 months, but like I was one of the first for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember that being a thing before.
No, if there was analysts in like, if there were analysts in like Black Ops 2 or Ghosts, they were either not an NA or they were like an analyst for the org. Like just in general, helping out esports, anyone that was doing multiple games.
Yeah.
Like in COD, like I was legit. I'm pretty confident I was one of the first people to do it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure like most of the coaches back then were more like hype men than actual coaches.
I mean, it's just hard. You didn't have Codcaster. Like VOD review wasn't as easy because you just recording and uploading video and like all that stuff just isn't. I'm saying you just didn't have those tools you had.
Yeah.
So like that just kind of made it harder. But yeah, I think around Black Ops 3, when the money really increased a lot in AW, people were like, yeah, now there's a resource and like a need to really bring in a fifth person to really help with that. I don't think a lot of people continued on with analysts a lot in Black Ops 3. I think it really, the coach, ubiquitous re-adding of coaching, I think really happened in World War II, to be honest. Because Black Ops 3, I think there were coaches, a bunch of teams had coaches, but I think it like really, really like, everybody started bringing on like coach in and analysts and times and teams in World War II, just with the advent of the LAN League. Like people started like, I'm saying, really, really going for it at that point. Because that was sort of like the peak of the like climate esports. At that point, that's like 2016, 2017. Like there was a lot of money getting pumped in from private equity, private capital, into these orgs.
And I mean, honestly, I went back and watched some old gameplay. I think it had to have been MW 2019, maybe World War II, where they started adding numbers to the arrows. So being a coach back then would be way harder because you just see arrows, but you don't know who that person is. And even going back trying to analyze Black Ops 3, I'm like, I don't know whose arrow is who. So I actually guess that makes a lot of sense, to be honest. But I want to also go back because I mean, obviously we're not going to have time today. There's actually like so many questions I have as you're going on that I'm just thinking of, but maybe it could be for another time.
Another episode.
Yeah, but so like you're talking about Hitch and starting to go to these events and like, so like just from another person's point of view that like may not know, or maybe people just aren't as social. So like, how do you go about like being brand new, going up to like people, talking to people, getting relationships, and like getting to the point where you're all of a sudden like an analyst for FaZe? And I know you were a mod in Clayster Chat, which I just found out right now. I didn't even know that. But so when you went to these adventures with Hitch, how did you start like talking to people? And yeah.
I mean, it was a lot easier back then because the events were smaller and like, there wasn't that much segregation between like VIPs. Like back then, like someone like Hector would walk around pretty freely in the venue. Like people would ask to take photos, but like he's not gonna get stopped every 3 feet. Like
Yeah.
now now that culture is a little bit different, you know?
Of
The
course.
players just hung around in the fucking crowd. And they weren't getting like stopped every 3 seconds to take photos. So it's way easier if you were in someone's chat and you just went to an event and be like, yo, I'm so and so, they know who you are.
Mm.
Like now it's hard to do that play. Again, it's just standard networking things like, connect with people digitally. And then when you go to events, hey, segue that of, hey, I'm that person. And then kind of kick it from there for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a lucky path because I was a mod in Clay's chat. Clay's family was really, Clay's mom especially was trying to introduce me to all these people. And like at that point, just kind of kicked it on. It's just standard networking stuff, really. It's just
Okay.
again, just much harder. Just much harder to do now with how big the scene is and the
Much
way the
bigger.
venues are laid out now and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And going back to it, because I don't think you actually answered it because it ended up going into more of the history, but like how, or like the very first time that you met Zuma.
Uh, very first time I met Tom, I think I talked to Tom briefly at X Games Austin, the last one. I don't remember. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of booze at that event. There's a lot of booze after the event, and my memory's a little bit hazy of a couple of those days. Especially because Clay's team got eliminated pretty early, and it was like the end of them. So like they were like,
Yeah.
they having fun, and obviously I lived in Austin, so I was like I knew where to take them to like parties and shit.
Yeah.
First time I like really hung out with Tom was like UMG Dallas,
Okay.
and then we did a lot at MLG Finals, and then I came up to Columbus for Totino's a few months later. We hung out in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw him at every event. We go on a stream occasionally. When he moved down here, we hung out a bunch. Like that's how Tom and I kind of developed really a rapport. I think like everything, like really, really like the peak of it was probably like when we spent all that time in World War II.
Mm.
Because we would go and we would be weeks together at the league, right? 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And we spent a lot of time that year at rooms and driving around and going, doing all this other shit. Like that's how him and I got like pretty close. To the
Yeah.
point, obviously, that once he retired, we're bros, and he's like, wants to do a podcast with me.
Yeah. It almost kind of feels like from the outside looking in, it feels like you're sort of like a father figure in his life, kind of like that's honestly kind of what it feels like from the outside.
A little bit. I mean, I spent a lot of time when I was the manager of that team telling Tom to delete tweets. Like I'm gonna be real with you. Like,
He was
I
pretty
had to have a
rogue back
lot of
then.
like that guy. Listen, you think that guy is rogue now when he rips a couple of joints to Papania, but back then, bro, I know Papania. That guy would he type stuff, and I'm just like, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and delete that tweet, bro. He was a handful. I looking back on it, like having to manage a team with Preston Priesta, Dylan Attach, and Tommy, and then Chris was like the mature one of the four.
Yes.
But like he just didn't care, so he would just play into it. I was like, bro, I can't believe I kept my sanity in check, like dealing with those morons. It's like,
And I'm actually like curious, like because I remember like watching that whole period of phase, and I think I'm gonna ask you like three more questions before we hit the mark, and I'll let you go. Um, but this is just like a random question since we're on the topic. Why was that phase team together for so long? Like I know they had success in like World War II, like they had success, like they're a pretty good team for like the most part, but that team was together for like a very very long time. Like the Clay, Zuma, Attach, and I'm not sure if like the
you're talking about the team before that.
yeah.
You're talking about like the AW. I mean, they had a really good run in AW. Um, like they were the one team that could consistently just square with Optic,
Yeah,
right? They
beat on,
beat
yeah.
Optic at GFIN Masters. They beat them at season 3 playoffs.
Yeah.
At tail end of AW, like I think they got passed a bit by like Donnie, Nick, Austin, and Kyler's team, and I think they lost ISO at one point. Like they were losing some of the up and comers. Black Ops 2 was a weird year. They were good at that game. But
Yeah.
every time they got in the land matches, like I don't know if it was communication or decision making, they were just not on the same page on how they wanted to play. And I think like that was like an early time where I learned like if all four players are not like totally down to play one system, like you're just gonna have inconsistent results.
Yeah.
I think the problem for them is like they just felt like they were good enough or they didn't need to go into this like constant blender of roster changes, you
Y-
know?
yeah.
Like they felt like they had the continuity. I think that looking back on it, when they had a couple of those mid placings in Black Ops 3, like they should have changed for champs that year. But I just don't think they wanted to drop each other, you know? Like they all knew that they were top players and they were underperforming. But I got to a point IW where it was just not sustainable. Like they had success that early that year at PSX, right? But the other event placings weren't the best. They'd constantly lose to like, you know, teams like United and uh, squads, you know, that they are better than, and like eventually like time came for them, you know.
Yeah.
I think they should have changed to Black Ops 3. Like looking back on it, like the fact that they didn't change in the middle way of Black Ops 3, I think was
I was that.
a mistake.
That's kind of around the same time. It kind of felt like coasting, but I mean, there's a lot of players and a lot of teams that do that all the time. If you're in a good like solid spot and you're comfortable, you're just not motivated to change.
I mean, listen, they were one of the teams getting like 4,000 a month, shit like that. So like they didn't want to.
I didn't
They
know
didn't
that
want like you're
either.
saying if you're getting coin.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
didn't know that.
you know, like you don't want to. It's like the good options are MV Optic and Phase. Like they could have probably made a change after Black Ops 3, um, but they wanted to stick it out. And I think eventually like there was just too much disagreement in IW and bad placings just were enough at that point. You know.
Yeah,
Here's what it is though. They had a good run. They won quite a few events. Like one, you know, had some good continuity. And the team that we built after, I mean, World War II wasn't the world's best year for FaZe. They got off to a slow start.
if
Had to
they actually
start
could have
over
won
for everyone
champs
else.
though, like they actually had an opportunity. Like I think they like choked the game. I think it was against Envy, or
They to this day, and Pat Price disagrees. Well, I love Pat, but they
Of course he
never
does.
lost it to EG like ever that year.
oh, it was
Like
like easy
LG,
to.
EG, like those teams they just consistently beat.
Yeah,
Well, at the end of the season, I'll say this: FaZe and World War II had a really inconsistent placings at events. And I think a lot of it again is a result of some play styles not really working together, and people being a little bit stubborn and making rule changes. And eventually, they really shuffled things going into that event.
mm.
Like Preston was running a sub for a majority of World War II and ran a mini R at that event. Chris was running a mini R in the beginning of the year. Was running a sub by the end of the year. And it was fine because their hardpoint was disgusting by champs. I think RJ gets a little bit of credit too because they brought in RJ after we brought RJ in after Anaheim.
Oh,
And RJ
okay.
was like on point on like cleaning up the hardpoint. But they were a good search team like all year. CTF team, they were pretty good all year. They obviously won season one. But champs they could have won. To be honest, I don't want to put it all on shoulders, but if Dylan Attach had a gunfight on the world's best heady, Radio Heady on St. Marie. And if he had won that gunfight, they beat TK.
Oh, I'm
They
go.
go to the finals
that.
against EG, and I think that was it. I think they won that shit. But like,
It was an S&D.
yeah,
I believe, I swear I might know what you're talking about because I was going back and watching some World War II. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one. Yeah, because I remember like that World War II champs. There's so many teams that should have won. I obviously think EG got super duper.
I mean, you can
fortunate.
argue that like maybe we shouldn't have gone there because we super trolled against MV Game 5 in winners bracket, and then in losers bracket, we made a huge comeback in round 11. Chino on London Docks hit markered Chris crossing docks, and then Tommy got like 2 kills I think to open that round. Like there's also a role where you could say we shouldn't have gotten that far because Envy should have beaten them for top 6.
Yeah.
So like they won that match, they smoked United in like 5 seconds, and then TK series. But yeah, they could have won Chance War 2. If they had beaten TK and gotten to grand finals, I think they win. To be honest, Pat disagrees.
Well,
But I watched. A lot
of course
scrims,
he does. Of course he does.
Pat disagrees, but I watched a lot of scrims. I don't think they were losing EG.
Yeah, no, I don't think so
think so.
either. There was just something in the air at that champ, just something in the air, and EG was riding it.
So
I'm gonna just do like a 2-parter. I was gonna ask the third question, but now I'm actually curious to save it for the next time. But we'll see how long like the 2-parter takes. like probably the main question that I wanted to ask was, how do you feel about how the community perceives you, and do you sometimes feel like a punching bag? Not just on the
Ooh,
community, but maybe
question.
around your peers as well, because like it's like very evident watching like the shows, even the streams sometimes. So I'm very curious on your take on that.
Are you saying, do I feel like a punching bag?
Do you feel like a punching bag, and also how do you feel how the community perceives you?
I think that it depends on what side of the community, to be honest. 'Cause I think a lot of people that like pay attention and understand that you know, I, I think like a lot of the viewership times on the flank when I talk about business things that like their fucking brain glazes over.
Oh
But then the
yeah.
shit that I say on that show ends up being like fucking facts. Like for example, not trying to toot my own horn. Like 3 years ago on the flank, I said, you know, we're gonna have multiple dream hacks a year in COD, and people in the chat like, what are you talking about? Like everybody's gonna want to run events, blah blah. Guess what we found out today?
Yeah.
We have DreamHack Atlanta. We already know we had DreamHack Birmingham. To me, it doesn't affect me as much as you think, because a lot of times I'm confident that I know that my takes will age well. I really
Yeah.
don't care that people spam line in the chat. When we were first starting out, it definitely got annoying to me, and in a sense because I felt like Tom could have at the time like stuck up more for me
Yeah.
early on, but him and I had a lot of combos over the first like 3 years of the show, and we got to a really good point where I kind of get where he's at, where I'm at, and like what we need to do. And I just don't care. Like at this point, you know what I'm saying? Like I do care when, it gets a little bit too toxic, when people DM me like crazy shit,
Oh.
you know. Yeah.
Oh. I.
Like, yeah. Well, I mean, every creator deals with that, but like, you
Yeah.
know, strictly related like show shit. And like there are some niche communities like that just like they're always just like hating on me, bro. But at this point, like, because I've been doing this now for so long, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think a lot of people, like, I'm not saying that people are uneducated, but like, I understand a lot of people that are spamming Len, or either not understanding what I'm saying because they haven't been in the scene long enough, or
Yes.
they're just trying to do it to just be cool in chat. And like, I don't, like,
Y-
whatever.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't
I
care.
feel like it's almost like, I'm not sure if it's a trend, but it feels like sometimes it's unwarranted. Sometimes I don't know. I just feel like it could be another case of just people not understanding you and understanding like where you're coming from. But I mean, I guess you could say you're probably at the point where you built up like a calluses to like everything, and now it's kind of just like, whatever.
I mean, I can't control it. It's just the internet, bro. Like, people are gonna be toxic.
Yeah.
Like, again, first 2 years of the show, like, I used to just, as I record an episode, I'm just like, bro, like, I, I feel like chat just was on my ass. But like, at this point, I just don't care. It's like whatever. Like people are gonna either like or dislike my takes. Like the only opinion that matters is like my opinion. It felt like I contributed to the show. The good conversations, great. If I felt like I was interrupting people too much or like arguing over some dumb shit, then then I thought that was a lot of me.
Yeah,
But if
because
people saying let in the chat, like a lot of times I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I mean, like those in like the chat, like I think those are just like a trend. Those are a joke. But even like your most recent thing with Barstool, I haven't watched that podcast yet, but I hopped on the YouTube comments, and the first thing I saw was like something about you with like the production in the first 2 seconds. So it's just like a troller, like, yeah, whatever. You just can't control that.
Well, hold on. Now it's because Tom normally mutes the call when we do the intro, and we usually guys don't hear it, but we usually like yap a bit. We usually like yap a bit before the intro and during the outro, but like on Discord, Tom didn't do it, so I like talked over it. He's like,
Mm.
that's where that kind of comment's coming from. But like,
Oh,
I
okay.
thought I thought that episode was good. I
Yeah.
thought getting the Barstool guys on was great. And one thing you'll see this year with the flank is, we brought on 3 new guys. We brought on Don, Temp. We brought on Donnie Temp. We brought on Dylan Attach. We brought on Ian Nabel the Nub. And so there are going to be episodes where I'm just not on. I'm starting to work on a schedule now for stage one,
Yeah.
and like I'll probably miss like 2 or 3 episodes in stage one just so we can make sure that we're getting on everybody as many shows as possible. So like, You know, the
Okay.
key thing for me in the flank this year is like try to keep it fresh, try to keep it exciting.
Yeah. I actually think your guys' best guess of all time, in my opinion, is accuracy. Like I feel like every episode accuracy's been on has just been a vibe. I don't know what it is about that guy, but not only does he bring like the game side, but he's like really, really funny in every episode I've seen him in. So maybe he comes on as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Lamar's been good. There was one episode, and Lamar apologized to me afterwards,
Oh
where
yeah,
when
where
the
you guys were having your little
yeah,
thing.
he was like he came on, and I think he was trying to defend Dante. Dante like blatantly, I think it was last year, right? He was on a car in Hacienda, like blatantly snaked someone.
Oh, one I made a
Yeah,
whole
I
YouTube
think that
video
was
about
that
that. Yes.
situation. It was either that or it was a snake situation in the previous game. And he came on, he was like a little too disrespectful to me.
Oh
And I
yeah.
called him out. I was like, I'm the co-host of this show. Like, you're gonna need to say he like crashed out. But no, I like Lamar. The nice thing about the COD scene in our show, advice you got very early on was from Hector. And Hector told me and Tom, listen, like, do not treat your show like a podcast. Treat it like a TeamSpeak call. We're gonna come and go. You're gonna get a lot of random guests. And just have fun. Like, don't try to do too many segments and all this fucking gimmicks. Like just have fun with it. So we've been lucky. Like we get a lot of guests to come on.
Yeah.
Industry guests, we got big people on. But there are times where some bullshit in the community comes down with snaking or GAs or whatever. And we have 17 pros on the call arguing. And I think it's funny. I think it's good content. So
I mean, like sometimes when there's like way too many people and everyone's like screaming over each other, like sometimes that's a bit too much. But if it's like if it's controlled a bit, it's like a vibe. But yeah, I could agree with that.
yeah, we've gotten better about like having one thing early on when I would go back and watch shows, we had too many circular arguments
Yes.
where it was clear 5 minutes in the argument that like it's arguing the same shit.
Yes.
So like Tom and I have a good balance now of like either he notices it and puts his foot down, or I notice it and I tried to like move the conversation out of the circle if I can. But if it's clear that like we're still looping back, I'll try to move on to a new topic. Um, but we're still gonna have moments every, what I'm saying, like a couple of times a split where like the team is really struggling and we have a big disagreement on what they should do moving forward. Um, I'll be honest, usually Pat is the biggest offender of this as far as those combos.
Yes.
But the people like that. They like that content. They like the debate and the argument. We keep it 100 on the show. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't with the flank, like we're not trying to be sanitized. I'm not trying to impress Activision or anything like that. Like we say how it is on the show. And sometimes we're calling people and teams out for their bullshit and it's shit they don't want to hear. And during my fucking DMs or Tommy's DMs complaining about it. But we keep it a buck. Yeah, once or twice a year, Tom and I get a pro or a team complaining about something we said on this show. Usually it's usually the usual like way or the point they're trying to make is that the show influences narratives around the player of the team.
It does.
Which
I could agree with that.
Does it though? Because my response is always, if your GM or your coach or your players care what we're saying about the show to influence their decision making, they suck at their job.
I agree with that too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who gives a fuck what the community thinks about your fucking team?
No,
What matters is your fellow teammates, or if you're a coach, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what your front office thinks. If you guys are making decisions because we coached you guys on the flank, like, first off, a lot of times the things that we're seeing, they should be seeing if they watch practice every day. If not, they're just lying to themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like you don't like, and then usually at that point they don't have a response to that because I'm just like, I'm making it clear to them like, sure, yeah, obviously people are going, fans of the community are going to repeat what we say on the show as their talking point.
That's
But
exactly.
like that shouldn't influence the internal decision making they have about tactics or maps they want to play or this, that, and that. Like that is still a decision that should be between the players and the coaching staff or coaching staff, the front office or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like within their team unit.
It should not, but I mean, it should not, but that's literally just how it is. It's like after the matches are over, the flank is like the one podcast everyone's going to. That PR goes right to Twitter, and for some reason, people follow it. But I'm actually like surprised about the telling it like it is thing, because I know you guys like do tell it how it is, but I'm actually just curious because I know we're going over the time, but
No,
um
we can go for like 10 minutes. We're good.
okay. Um like the telling how it is, like is there a point, because I know like all you guys, like with the pros and everyone, you guys have a whole friendship circle, like like you guys are all friends with one another. So is there a limit to how much you guys actually say when you're talking about players or teams, or are you guys like truly being I mean, obviously you guys are being honest, but like are you guys like fully saying everything that's on your mind, like would you say?
I do. The only time I'll
Mhm.
hold stuff back, I mean, people always think of me that I put stuff like in TeamSpeak chat. 100% I will not say anything on stream if someone has been very clear they don't want to share publicly or it's off the record. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff like that that I'll just never talk about on stream because it's just not. They've been clear about that. And I try to be as careful as possible about like rumors and stuff. Like for me, it's like if I'm going to talk about on the show, either I know it's something I know firsthand is true,
Yeah.
or I've heard it enough from two reputable people that I know that it's true. I never have had a situation where I've said something on the show and it turned out like as far as either a business thing or like you know what I'm saying, like on that end that was just like patently false. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
slandered someone like that. And I've gotten situations where I said something and someone's like, how do you know this? Why do you know this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they try to spin it and I'm just like, don't know what to tell you, bro. It's like it's out there. It's
Yeah.
true and people know it. So like I don't know what you're arguing about with
Yeah.
this guy. You know, it's pointless. Um I can't say the same for some of my co-hosts. You know, they have their own process. You'd have to talk to them about
Yes.
that. But we try to like. I think one thing Tom and I preach to everybody is we try to like. I don't want people coming on a show and like being a fence sitter. I don't want our co-hosts to feel like they have to please everybody, make everybody happy, can't criticize players and teams. If they're doing that, they shouldn't be on the show.
Yeah.
Like the whole point of our show is to break down the games and matches in the scene, especially plays early on in the year, call out what we think players should have done. And like, you know, when it comes time for having a conversation about team changes and team dynamics, like giving our thoughts, our honest thoughts on it, not really holding back on that.
Yeah.
You got that, Nick.
Yeah, I think like even when like Zoom was in like my Twitch chat like that one time, saying I was going to be on the flank, I'm not sure if I actually could, because I say a lot of rogue stuff on my YouTube, but like obviously like nothing personal, but gameplay wise, and I just feel like it would get taken the complete wrong way. Um, but I mean, I wanted to ask a question, but I actually like forgot the question, which is L podcast host for me. I'm not really that much of an
You're good.
I'm not really that much of an interviewer, but I guess I'll ask you like one last question. Maybe you come back for like a two-parter. You could plead the fifth on this question because this one was going with like your earlier personal life,
Yeah.
but it's just something I'm curious about. Like your relationships, like do you plead like the fifth on that question, like how is your, or do you want to talk a bit about like that side of your life at all?
I don't really like when I've dated some people in recent years. I don't really date people like in the scene. Like I worked
Oh
very early
yeah,
on,
oh for sure.
like managing after hearing so many people complain. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It's tough right now for me because you know, especially once the season is going on, I don't have enough free time to really commit to like a serious relationship.
Yeah.
So like, especially the last 2 or 3 years, you know, if I've been seeing people, it's sort of like on and off, couple of dates, stuff like that. So I'm not in anything like long term right
Oh
now on that front, just because I don't feel like you know when I've been in past relationships, like you got to commit time. And
yeah.
I don't. It's tough right now with the stream schedule to like and to stream and create content the amount of hours I do that to really like, you know, because for example, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, I'm here till fucking midnight,
Yeah.
basically every night.
Yeah, prime time.
So
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
that's just the one issue I got to figure out how to navigate going forward and do a better job if I want to, you know, dip into the pool of like how do I, you know, date and still manage that issue that I have from December to really July over the course of the year.
Do you like use apps at all, or are you like an in-person thing? Like, are
Yeah,
apps like beyond
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
Everybody. I mean, do people date now using apps? Like, I don't.
Um, I mean, I gave up on apps a long time ago, but I mean, I have like a girlfriend now, but I just like force myself to do like the cold approach because the dating apps, I have a lot of like female friends, and they'll show me like their dating app, 100 matches, and you're just like one of the 100, so it's like, but if you want to meet them, just like cut the line, just talk to them in person, and then you're like ahead of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's the apps. I mean, I have a couple people I've dated that were like a friend or a friend. Oh, like you like them to like sports, whatever. But like the apps, yeah, that definitely is like the play. Like I don't know. It's before my time. People used to go to like speed dating events or like the manual
Ooh,
like before cell phones fucking era. There was like
speed dating events. That sounds cool.
yeah, no, you can go like old TV shows and movies cover this. You used to go to like bars and they would do like you would talk to someone for like 5-10 minutes and they would go to the
I
next person.
love that. I love
Yeah, yeah.
that. They actually
It
need
used to be a
that.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure they still do it now, but like
Where? I actually have
I haven't
to.
heard anyone doing it recently.
Yeah, that would be great in like today's generation where like no one likes talking to each other in person. Okay. Um, yeah, but yeah, thank you for coming on like the show. Thank you for coming
No
on the
problem, no
show.
problem.
I really appreciate it. We kind of went all over the place. I mean, I'm pretty much the exact same with you guys, where like I don't really do segmented. I just like doing acapella, just like to figure it out on the way. I may have some like general questions, but yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it was a great conversation. Like the hour just flew by, like it always does.
No problem, no problem. I'm happy to come on. Yeah, we can do a part two. I'm sure there's some questions you want to ask. We can cover. We can do another episode in a few months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know where to find me.
And I know where to find you in the Twitter D. Actually, oh my god. So, are you actually an agent for Kenny, or were you like
No,
joking
I'm
about
not
that?
Kent's agent.
Okay, I was just like, is he actually
Nah,
serious
Ken,
about?
Ken, I just having fun, bro. Ken, I just having fun.
Okay. All right.
Ken's just like one of those people. Like I just keep it weird. Like Ken is the thing I like about Ken is like I don't think he takes any of those conversations, that criticism like too seriously. You know, like I have been pretty fair about Ken.
I don't
But I've
know.
been on the side of like when he's playing bad, like I call out he's saying he's playing bad. You know, and like so him and I had that back and forth this summer, but it was just some stupid shit. You know, so.
How do you think he's gonna do this year?
I think that the thing for Thieves, for everybody involved in that team, is self-sacrifice. I think they're all talented players. I think too many people in the scene are ragging on Ken for last year. But all four of them are going to have to change their play style in order to win this year, including Paco.
100%.
If they come out and they play all the tendencies that they have, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, even Ken, like they're all have some level of the way they play are somewhat selfish. Ken is not a OBJ hill sitter bomb bitch type player. Like
Yeah.
he is when he's best, he is like a IGL kind of like anchor, but also like kind of turret, like 3, and he's like the one other player, you know what I'm saying, where he's working off info.
Yeah.
Like if like everybody's gonna have to change their style and the way they play because there's too much talent on that team to underperform. But if they don't adapt and they have 17 ways that they want to play, they're gonna have the same problems they had last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can win a couple events early. But once you got to get to the end of the year and you've got to execute, you got to play quick. And they're trying to do 2 different things on the map.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a problem.
And I mean, I already have my things about all of these, but I'm gonna save that for
You don't think they're gonna be good?
It's not that I don't think they're gonna be good. I mean, the reason why I think they're gonna be good is because like the competition isn't like there. Like just off skill alone, like they'll skill diff pretty much 85 to 90% of the league. Honestly, actually, maybe even like 95%. They actually may skill diff everybody, but yeah, I just have.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I just have questions about. I mean, just the whole dynamic. Like, is Paco really going to be able to add that layer to his game where he's a bit more selfless, even though he is like the best player in the world at just being able to just fucking run around and kill things? He's literally the best in the world at that. And then if a BZ starts playing passive, why couldn't he do that with Simp? Kenny's gonna have to take the bomb because Scrap's not gonna take the bomb. Abizi should take the bomb, but is he going to? If you're gonna get the best out of him in S&D, I mean, you shouldn't be taking the bomb. Hydra's not taking the bomb, so Kenny might have to, and Kenny's not that good at doing it.
We can't have one bomb. Listen, this isn't fucking 2018. Like the thing with them is this: they all have to be open minded this year. Okay.
Yes.
Like they all have to be willing to try new stuff, do new things, be open to ideas. Like they're all too talented to be selfish. But nobody in S&D now. You cannot be a team that has one person that carries bomb. It's the easiest fucking read because they're gonna figure out the info. They're gonna know who you run with a lot. They're gonna know where to overload the map. You're not gonna be able to fool the opponent if one person is carrying the bomb the whole fucking.
Yeah, but that was like every team in the CDL this year. Every team that like did make a roster change had a designated person. Like Stimp actually took the bomb all year,
and it made them an easier read. Like in past years where they rotated a bunch, right? Like, remember they were king of like the fucking Strata Hotel, where they would put the bomb behind the fucking check-in desk.
Yes,
and they would just spread and play for picks, and you didn't know where had the fucking bomb because it's not like they're gonna show. Like that's the thing with Thieves. I think if they're open minded, they try new ideas. They're open to new ideas. Their talent is going to be, I think, really Optic. I think is the only other team that's probably even with them talent wise. But if it's like, they're still kind of stuck in their ways, I think there's 6 teams that can win this year. I truly believe and I'm
6 really.
Yeah,
sick.
I think Optic, Thieves, FaZe, Toronto, Gentlemates, Miami. That's 5, right?
Yeah.
The 5. Falcons has the talent to win. Between Kiz, AG, and MC, they got the talent to win.
I'm not gonna lie, like not to spoil my tier list, but I actually have them in the F tier.
Well, that's the thing because Falcons and Gentlemates could be fucking terrible. That's the thing. Like they could be good, but the thing with those 2 teams is like they could just, for a number of personnel and personality reasons, just not work. But like I think that people need to be prepared that this might be a year where it's pretty even. That there are 5 or 6 teams that are all fairly good, and it's going to come down to matchups and who you play to give an event and who's hot, and not like the last 2 years where I felt like it's been really 2 or 3 teams that have mostly kind of dominated the year. I mean, last year I don't think anyone expected Vancouver second half of the year to be one of those teams, but like year before, I mean, it was essentially Optic and FaZe for a majority of the year.
I'm honestly thinking like barring a roster change, it's top 3 and then Ultra, and I don't think anyone else is going to touch. They may touch like a grand finals, but if any of the teams above them are in the grand final, I don't think they're gonna win. But
you need to be careful about teams like Falcons and Gentlemates. It's really easy to look at those teams and be like they're dog shit, but those teams have players that have won world championships. They know on Saturday and Sunday what to do to win those events. The question is can they get into a situation where they're on the same page that they can execute on that experience?
Yeah.
Because if they get to those situations, like a Dylan Envoy, people love to hate on fucking Dill. But go look at Dill's stats and performances on Sundays and against big teams and the plays that he makes. That guy is a very talented player, not that consistent online, but in big series, he's there and thereabouts,
Yeah.
Like those teams have the ability to do that. And you have the same concern. It's like they may not even get to that point because they're going to fucking hate each other after 3 days of scrimming at the beginning of the game, and it's going to be downhill from there until they make a roster.
Yeah, like that team's really good on paper. That team's really good on paper, but I just like don't have faith in people's personal side in the game and their mental. That's really what it comes down to.
I just think we're in an era where I think we had a little bit of a talent drain in the beginning of the CDL. That's how like CWL or Cold War year happened, where FaZe kind of dominated the year. Just because a lot of talent had kind of left or was on the complete tail end of their careers.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. A lot of these teams make sense this year, and do not be surprised if Major 1 we go in and people are like, there are 5 or 6 teams that can win this shit. That's all I'm saying. It may not be a 3-team league this year. It could be a fucking mess, which could be incredible.
I mean, I guess we'll see, but I mean, we could probably do a whole episode just talking about the games once this stuff, because I could yap about this shit forever. But but we're gonna end it off there. Thank you to BenJNissim for hopping on the Borito Talk podcast. But yeah, for everyone, Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your work week. No inspirational quote this week. I mean, I hope you got all the inspiration just from listening to this podcast. But this has been Burrito. Bada boom, bada bye. We'll see you next time.